Alrighty. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm very excited to be speaking to you today about the intelligent digital workplace assistant and the 10 ways in which it can supercharge a intranet by combining what used to be disenfranchised data into a real experience. So first of all, to set the scene, and please excuse the wordplay, but this is the innovation spotlight. And today, many organizations are struggling with their innovation. Actually, they're struggling with their innovation off, because that is what most companies actually struggle with, innovating, and it does get increasingly harder for organizations. So just consider this simple fact. In 1975, the average life expectancy of a Fortune 500 company used to be 75 years. But 40 years later, it is now only 15 years. And in the last 15 years, 52% of Fortune 500 companies have actually disappeared. So things really are more volatile than they used to be. But what actually is in the way of companies innovating? Well, according to a Forrester study that was recently conducted, it happens to be our business applications, unfortunately. With 2 in 3 respondents reporting that they need the help of another person or another team in order to access some of their data. 75% of respondents have said that using multiple applications is a source of problems for them in their organizations, for benign things like forgetting, usernames or even not remembering which application holds what data. To put that into perspective, another study has found that 61% of knowledge workers are using 4 or more systems on a daily basis, and 1 in 10 knowledge workers actually use 11 or more systems on a daily basis. That is a lot of systems, and looking through all of these systems takes up a lot of your time, 36% of your time on average, to be precise. And if you can imagine that we'd had a way to just shave off 1% of that 36%, the savings could be huge. And as a matter of fact, one company was cited as having saved something to the tune of $50 million a year just by securely unifying access to their intranet, CRM, ERP, and help desk for all of their 70,000 users. So it's easy to see why the potential for getting a digital employee experience right is huge. But that's only if you're lucky enough to actually get to your data in the end, because a staggering 38% of respondents have said that they are literally, get this, unable to access their data inside the office, never mind outside. So the alarm bells should be deafening at this point. But we're not here to be naysayers. We don't want to hear about innovation-offs, so bye-bye. We want to hear about the great innovation-ons, excuse the pun again, that are moving the industry forward in the years to come. So with that in mind, let's get right into it and get to know Joe Stein. He's a sales advisor for Toasters, Inc. That's a fictitious maker of consumer electronics. And Joe likes his smartphone, his smart home, and his Alexa, or just anything that's smart and helps him complete a task faster by using just a single tab or a single command. So Joe's gonna love this first innovation, receiving smart notifications about anything work-related on his devices. It sounds simple, but it is so powerful. So let's check this out. Here I'm in the Now Assistant for Joe, and he has 3 notification cards here. The first one is a notification with a sales update from Salesforce. It's showing the company's performing well, 21% above projections. And there's also a chart that visualizes this data. And now, Joe could go ahead and open this in Salesforce if he needed more details about it, but he doesn't. So he just clicks it away, and it's gone, because he's done looking at it. The second card shows here an update from his colleague Carol Ann. Oops, another card actually came in. So Carol Ann is working on this document that he's a contributor for, so he could, again, go into SharePoint and look at it, but he's not interested in doing that right now. So he can, instead of clicking the X, he can also swipe it away, something that maybe is a bit more a mobile touch to it. And then here, just as I was speaking, in real time, a new card came in. It's Shirley's birthday, it's letting me know. And again, right from within this card, I can actually congratulate her by clicking in the footer and leaving her a comment. So I can say, "Happy birthday, where is the cake?" And send this off to her in Slack or whatever other enterprise chat the company might be using. And lastly, here I have just an informational notification from the maintenance of the building. They're just letting me know there's going to be a fire test. Nothing to worry about, don't have to act on it. So again, I'll just click it away. But Joe can actually also find anything from within the same interface using artificial intelligence. So right inside this interface, he has a search bar, and he can ask, let's say, how much leave he has left this year. So it's suggesting me if I'm typing this in, maybe I'm looking for how much leave, but different people have different ways of asking for the same thing. So if I'm asking for annual leave, it knows that too. Or if I'm asking for time off, it knows that too. Or even if I'm asking for PTO. So the AI inside Now Assistant always accounts for the different ways of asking for the same thing, essentially. If I click this now, it brings me here to my card. Again, it shows a very big number, gives me an instant answer to my question, visualizes this data as well. And without having to leave this Now Assistant environment, I can either look at a policy, or I could also fill out forms on the go. So chances are, if I'm asking about PTO, the next step would be that I want to request some more. So I can bring out this form here where I can start filling out my start and my end date. But I did say on the go, so this works the same on a desktop as it does on an iPhone. I can just open the same form on my iPhone, fill out a start and an end date, select a type and a comment, going somewhere warm, let's hope, and send it off. It's really that simple. Who wouldn't want to do that on their phone? Now, next up, Joe is browsing the company's Workplace by Facebook installation, which is just Facebook, but for companies. And he's seeing, wait a minute, actually my colleague has completed this training. That sounds really interesting. I wonder what training options are available to me. So he heads over to Slack, and he's asking Slack, show me available training options. And the Now Assistant brings up a list of options that are available to him. So, for example, the sales tips and tricks looks really interesting. But actually, having said that, Joe never had to leave Workplace by Facebook in order to get this, because Now Assistant even lives inside Workplace by Facebook as a bot. So you could have brought up the conversation with Now Assistant just inside here and asked for show me available training. Bringing up the same list as a gallery, can browse through it, and here I can finally reserve my seat. And then it's letting me know that I've just done that. While I'm here, why am I not asking how close am I towards my target? So no matter where you happen to be, Now Assistant always gives you any answer in any place that you're currently at. And it doesn't stop at Workplace by Facebook. So if I speak to Joe's good friend, Alexa, open Now Assistant.
Welcome to Now Assistant.
Can I travel business class?
You can travel business class on international flights over 6 hours or on domestic flights over 2.5 hours.
Thank you.
You're welcome. If you'd like me to do something else, just ask me now or say stop to leave this skill.
So I really mean that it works on any device. But if we now switch roles a little bit and look at Vivian's day. She's a project manager for Toaster, and she uses a lot of different applications every day, and she wishes that they were just a little bit easier to navigate. Well, Vivian will really appreciate this next innovation, accessing her assistant right inside the browser. So let's say Vivian is working on her current project and she needs to make a decision about how to prioritize some of these tasks. So she wants to look up a few stats. Well, instead of having to hunt for them, she can just invoke Now Assistant inside her Chrome and ask it, let's say, show me recent sales. And it brings up an answer card from Salesforce, answering her question, visualizing some of that data. There are some insights from the built-in AI as well. And I can even unfold this if I want to see more details, like a table. And she could now make this decision without ever having to leave Jira or what other project management software she might be using. Next up, Vivian is browsing the intranet. So she's going through her SharePoint installation on the employee communications page. And she finds, actually, Now Assistant cards are even inside here. So this particular card is quite interesting to her. It shows how close the company is to the target. She can see some upcoming events. So that's a really useful card. But Vivian is wondering, how can she keep tabs on that card? If things change in the future, how will she stay informed? So she can pin an interesting card that she may find just about anywhere to her workplace. So she does that, and now if she heads over to her own personal workplace, then she sees here this card pinned to her. It's basically a personal dashboard where she can rearrange the cards that she's seeing, or if she's done looking at it, she can finally unpin it from her workplace again. Now Vivian is having a coffee break, so she can use the time and respond to some workflow requests with one hand, while she might be playing Candy Crush or drinking a latte with the other. So we now have two approvals. Here the first one is an expense approval. So Gary is requesting reimbursement from a business trip that he took. So Vivian is wondering, well, I wonder how much that was. So she's opening up a more detailed report where she's seeing, all right, okay, he had a car rental, got some gas. That seems all good, so she's going to go ahead and approve it. And finally, she has a PTO approval from Robert. It's requesting 4 days, as we can see, but the AI is letting her know, watch out, 6 people already scheduled to be off work. You want to double check if there is enough space in the department to kind of expand Robert for the day. So on this occasion, sadly, she's going to have to deny it, so she can give Robert a reason saying, sorry, let's say you snooze, you lose, and deny this request for him. So now, having read about this Texas trip her colleague took, actually Vivian remembers that she too needs a rental car for her stay in Chicago here. So she's going to head over to Slack and ask it, hey, who do we book rental cars with? And Slack gives her the answer. It's Avis in North America, gives her the account number, and she can even request a rental car booking right from inside Slack. She doesn't have to leave Slack to do that. So she wants it from tonight until Monday. She can change the pickup location. Let's say she's already in downtown, and maybe there's some light off-roading involved. So she might change the category. And she's going to stay with the full-to-full fuel policy and request this right inside Slack. But of course, it doesn't stop there. Also, Vivian can be asking Alexa a couple of things. Alexa, open Now Assistant.
Welcome to Now Assistant.
So Vivian is in Chicago. She's got a car. Who's she going to visit? Alexa, are there any customers nearby?
Nearby customers. I've found 4 customers close to you. Number 1 is Northwind Incorporated on 1800 East Lake Street in Chicago. See 3 more customers on the screen.
Are there any upcoming birthdays?
Vanessa Kramer, 21st June. Rachel Long, 23rd June. Rich Hunter, 26th June.
So Now Assistant is a new employee experience generation that works on any platforms with data from any services. So many of these services I'm sure you might be using in your organization. And Now Assistant works with all of these and on any device, smartphone, tablets, Cortana, or Alexa. You can use it on the desktop or inside other desktop applications as a chatbot, inside a browser extension, or by embedding it into an intranet. Thank you very much for joining us and enjoy the rest of your day.